Hey guys, my name is Ruben Dutton, and in this video, I'm actually going to talk about why a lot of people, or most people, are not making money in the markets. And it's actually somewhat of actually quite frankly an easy solution, I think. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ruben Dutton. I've been trading stocks, futures, forex, equities for almost 10 years now, and studying them from almost 15. And something that I kept seeing over and over and over again is that a lot of people are not making the kind of money they want to make, or they're not scaling the way they want to. And so, like I said, I am an OTA Academy student, and the primary solution, and I think is actually quite a very simple one, and is very true to their homework, is knowing your why. And the reason I say that is not so much to understand that you want to make money so that your kids can go to college or to pay off your debt or whatever, but so that you can begin to reverse engineer your goals. So something that I notice a lot of people are doing is think of your why, especially if you are a different time frame trader, which I think most people are. Think of your why as your longest time frame, right? So that's your high time frame, and then understanding what it is that you want out of it. So it's nice to know that you want to make $1 million so that you want your kids to retire, so on and so forth. What but what happens thereafter is understanding what the path is to get there. So let's say that you're about to retire, and your monthly or your yearly income that you currently have is $100,000, and you're comfortable that way. So then if you're going to retire in 5 years and you're expecting to retire for 20 years, then you would need theoretically $2 million in your retirement account, right? So how would you accomplish that? Well, there's a couple of ways, right? So you can have it in savings, or you can really go in for, looking at your entire year, and, how much does that mean per day? So then you can, take the whole year, divide it into 12 months, divide it into, 30 days, divided into 5 days a week. And then you get somewhat of an average of what you need to make every day. And so then from that point, you can begin to formulate, if you want to take a 30-to-1 risk reward ratio or 5-to-1, then formulate that based on your schedule. And that's something I kind of went over on my trading plan video. But if you really want to take understanding your why even more expansively, is really coming into self-union and really getting to know yourself. And what I mean by that, even if you are currently trading profitably and maybe you're scaling, maybe you can even replace your job, there's going to be a point where either liquidity is going to change or going to plateau, or different things like that are going to happen. Because what's interesting about the markets is that, in my opinion, it is the heartbeat of the modern world. Every fear, phobia, and anxiety is depicted in the candlesticks. Inversely, we are all a part of the markets, but we're also moving no markets. So it's almost a reminder that we are everything and nothing at the same time. And so with that being said, understanding even something like core strategy or supply and demand, or whatever your favorite style of trading is, they apply differently to different asset classes. And so different personalities and different schedules will apply different asset classes differently. So how does that correlate with not making money or not achieving your goals in the trading and investment life or future? And you have to understand how different styles relate to your life and how they resonate with what you're even trying to accomplish. For example, I took pretty much every asset class and every education, and I took every instructor and everything, literally, like all the different classes from everyone that they had to offer, which is my favorite thing about OTA. And is the reason I chose to work there, and is the reason I chose to be a student. Because in understanding it, once you understand really your motive and your why and what you're trying to accomplish, then you start to understand your personality in the context of the market, which will then begin to formulate not just the asset class to trade, but what to trade within that asset class. For a lot of people that are, more risk adverse, or they don't necessarily like large erratic movement, but they like big daily gains, or like the leverage that like maybe futures offer, someone like that might be looking into the 10-year treasury note, which is, it moves different from the NASDAQ futures. But the reason you would even begin to understand which asset class is best for you and what specific tool within that asset class is best for you is once you know why you're trading the way you wanted to trade or what best resonates with you. So after taking everyone's different asset class and everything from everyone, I came to realize that for me, it was options trading in the tech sector. The reason I can go down the list of reasons why, but those are really specific to me and my personality and what I'm trying to accomplish. So a lot of people that are maybe already trading profitably and consistently, the reason you may be unable to scale then goes back to understanding why you're even trying to scale to begin with. And that almost goes back to the hierarchy of needs and understanding that, you know, my favorite thing about the financial markets is that it's the path of least resistance to your financial goals, whatever they may be. You can start a Shopify business, you can do network marketing, you can do a lot of things to make money from home. But the ability to scale and trading and investing, the ability to leverage really is goes back to being able to trust yourself and knowing yourself and how you are in context to the markets. And the reason I like leveraging and leverage in the financial markets versus necessarily people per se in a classic brick and mortar business or in a network marketing company is because I trust myself to know best for my trading style, for my goals after already taking every asset class and every instructor and know what resonates with my specific style in general. Every next level of your life will demand a different you. And so as you begin to want to scale, what you will begin to realize is that kind of like I said before about the markets reminding us that we're everything and anything at the same time, you will realize that you really need to balance a lot of your things within yourself. And the next part of understanding your why is understanding your priorities and context to achieving your why. So what I mean by that is being able to trade in the financial markets and being consistent. You need to make it a habit of trading what it is that you want to trade and why you want to trade those things. Additionally, you need to also understand why it is that it's a priority to you, because whenever you have to understand why it is that you need to get out of bed, and it's every morning. Let's say, for example, like my trading schedule, my trading style is usually from 5 to 7:30 in the morning, and then I tend to glance at the trades. And I know that because my style's already adapted to my personality and what my goals are in trading. And so for me, for example, I like to take very high time frame demand levels and being able to leverage that and then use usually selling vertical put options and then trade that asset class in the highs and the lows and already capturing the big move. That is my personality. That is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then my risk reward scales and compounds accordingly to that goal. And the more uh, I scale, the more certain markets will become illiquid. And that's where different asset classes begin to take place and transpire. But whenever you're unclear as to what your trading style is or your personality, it's hard to come to clarity within yourself as to why you're going to trade those things or those asset class. And what you will begin to realize as you begin to grow your account is that it requires you to really come to balance with yourself, because you have to be both methodical and intuitive. You have to be, practical and pragmatic. You have to balance your emotions. You have to be able to be decisive in your emotions, but also simultaneously be in the moment. And so it's interesting because although we have to reverse engineer our entire goals and trading plan, we also have to be present in the moment. And it's almost like as you begin to scale, you have to come to a very zen and present aspect, being at peace with the fact that the market is not going to be a place where you're going to go validate yourself because they're just going to shoot you up and spit you out. But then understanding what each time frame is in the context of what you are trying to acquire from the day to day to meet those goals. And so everything about journaling in a lot of ways is that if you don't know how to if you don't know what is and isn't working for you, it's hard to begin to step footing and even uh, where to start in knowing yourself. So that's where you can kind of use the markets as a mirror to maybe find yourself, because what you will realize is that the money will not be the answer, because and having a lot of money is really a reflection of self, as within so without. And what you will begin to realize is the money will come once you let go of, it's almost like The Secret, or when you think about Think and Grow Rich, it's you have to go the extra mile, and then the money will appear, the goal will appear, the success will appear, the promotion, whatever. It's almost like you have to be at peace with your process, and knowing, and the only thing you can control is your process and your rules, and then surrendering to the markets and knowing what that entails from day to day to construct your overall goal. So it's as much being present as it is being practical. And so with that being said, I hope that video was helpful. I don't think I left anything out, but what you will realize is the more you begin to understand yourself and who you are in the context of the market, you will begin to scale and begin to trade profitably. And so a lot of the practical things you can do to maybe start finding yourself is to journal and to do those things, because you will understand why certain markets work for you or why they're not working. And if you're consistently losing money, then understanding that maybe you're losing all this money in the forex market in the 4:30 a.m. Well, I'm in California, so I'm in Pacific time. So what I noticed for myself is that a lot of the times I would get stopped out during the Forex London session, like at 4:30 or so in the morning. And so then understanding what that is happening in that moment and what I can adjust in both my trading and my personality, and maybe even the asset class within of itself, to get into turning that around, and understanding that maybe I'm being too impulsive. If you're being too greedy, too impulsive, too anything, it will come out in your daily P&L. So your daily P&L actually ends up becoming a reflection of self. And even Tim Sykes and a lot of the, Ricky Gutierrez, they're very in touch with who they are, and they're very in touch where their identity is and the role begins. For example, I think it was Tim Sykes who said that the reason he was doing a lot of promotions and PR in a orange Lamborghini or yellow Lamborghini is not so much because he cared about those things. He seems actually pretty unattached to all of those things, but he knew that that attained the most traction. So the interesting thing is, and dichotomy of trading and investing, is that a lot of people come to it because they want, easy money or success. And it's actually one of the hardest things, not so much because the markets are difficult, but because coming to self-union and the psychology aspect, where you can come to be at whole with yourself, to understand then how you leverage the markets as a reflection or extension of yourself, is the difficult part, because you actually have to know yourself really, really, really well to be able to scale and grow in the market. So with that being said, guys, some practical things that you can do to understand that is, like I said, understand what your goals are. If it's your kid's tuition, then understand what it will look like to have that, and inversely what it will look like if you don't. Break that into the time frame that you want to achieve that. So if you have a newborn and they're 18, that okay, over the course of 18 years, if tuition is going to be $200,000, how much is that per year? How much is that per day? How much is that per month? And then you will begin to know which way to look to find the right asset class for you and what your daily goals are. So then your risk reward will become clear, your trading will become clear, the asset class will become clear after you understand your rules. Another thing that I like OTA so much for is that you really have to commit to yourself. And part of the problem with trading and investing is that the barrier to entry is so low, so it almost lets anybody come in. And then tuition and investing in yourself and in your education is really a commitment to yourself. It's not a commitment to me. It's not a commitment to the stock market or the company or Ricky or OTA or Tim Sykes. It's really, when you think about a doctor or a lawyer, they spend years and years and years, almost 30 years for a lot of them to get to those professions. Trading and investing is almost one of those things where you can achieve success very, very quickly once you introspect and once you take your classes, learn your lessons. But inversely, it attracts people that just want microwave success. And success, or the ultimate joy, comes from being the cost of your own success and the cost of your own fulfillment. That can happen in the markets, but if you have no sense of self, it's really hard to even move in that direction. So the great upside is that when you think about even financial freedom, that within of itself is an oxymoron, because If you are free within yourself, then the financial aspect will come, or the finances will be there. But when you're seeking freedom exclusively through financial gain, then you're never going to find freedom because that already exists within you. And the fulfillment is up to you to acquire that. But the markets is the best way to show you a massive mirror of everything you are and everything you can work through. But simultaneously is one of the best learning lessons that can come about yourself through learning, training, investing in the market. So with that being said, guys, I hope this video was helpful. I Let me know in the comments below if it was, and I look forward to doing more live streams. I think it's a lot more seamless and intuitive, and it allows me to kind of expand on challenges that different people might have versus having a rehearsed script or talk track. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.